Amazon has a problem and they genuinely don't know what to do about it. Not a competitor undercutting them by 5%. A Chinese shopping app that loses about $30 on every single order it ships on purpose and somehow built an empire out of that. 3 years ago, Temu didn't exist in the United States. Now it controls 24% of the cross-border e-commerce market. Same share as Amazon. Let that sit for a second. And no, this isn't an innovation story. This is a loophole, a billion-dollar subsidy, and a company that treats eventually being profitable as somebody else's problem. So how do you sell headphones for $2.48, ship them from a factory in Guangdong to somebody's doorstep in Ohio, and still call yourself a business? You don't. That's kind of the whole point. For most of its life, Temu ran through one of the quietest loopholes in American trade law, de minimis. Any package under $800 gets into the United States with no tariffs, no duties, none of the custom scrutiny a shipping container gets when it docks in Long Beach. This rule existed so your grandma's care package from overseas would not get buried in paperwork. Nobody wrote it thinking a company would build a $50 billion retail operation on top of it. But here we are. Temu ships straight from Chinese factories to American doorsteps. No warehouses, no middlemen, no import taxes. A $9 dress that costs Amazon $11 just in logistics and fees costs Temu $2 to $4 to deliver. That's not a supply chain advantage. That's a loophole with a business plan attached. In 2024 alone, over 1 billion packages came into the US through this exemption. Temu and Shein made up more than 30% of them. The US customs system, a system built to inspect and tax commercial imports, got treated like a free mail forwarding service for a foreign company. Nobody planned for that either. Result: Temu prices things 40% below Amazon and still looks like a real competitor. Not because their factories are better, because they simply are not paying for the system everyone else has to pay for. The shipping loophole made Temu cheap. What made Temu dangerous was something else entirely, a business model built to lose money on purpose at enormous scale. PDD Holdings, Temu's parent company, is a conglomerate worth over $100 billion. Their other platform, Pinduoduo, actually makes money, a lot of it, and PDD made a call that would get any American CEO fired on the spot. Take that profit and set it on fire, subsidizing Temu until it owns the market. Goldman Sachs put Temu's loss at around $7 per order back in early 2024. Wired later put the real number closer to $30 once you factor in shipping and marketing. Temu was moving $17 billion worth of product globally while burning through billions more just to make that number possible. Look at the marketing spend if you want the real story. $3 billion on ads in 2023, $4.3 billion in 2024, 3 Super Bowl ads in a single year. They were everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. At one point, Temu accounted for nearly 10% of Meta's entire ad revenue. One Chinese shopping app was propping up a chunk of a $150 billion American company. Sit with that one too. And the ads weren't subtle, not even a little. Spinning wheels, countdown timers, free gift pop-ups, prices that look like typos. It's casino design applied to buying a phone case. When your customer acquisition cost doesn't need to pay for itself for years, if ever, you can afford to be as loud and obnoxious as you want. Here's what most coverage of this gets wrong. Temu is not Amazon with lower prices. It's a completely different machine. Amazon built a logistics empire, warehouses, planes, trucks, Prime, and charges you for the convenience. Temu built a subsidy pipeline and charges you almost nothing because somebody else in Shanghai is footing the bill. Amazon saw it coming. They just did not have an answer. In November 2024, Amazon launches Haul, a discount storefront inside the main app. Everything under $20, most of it under $10. Free shipping over $25, 1 to 2 week delivery. The pitch? Basically, we're Temu now, but with our logo on it. It flopped. Not in a dramatic way, just quietly. A survey in early 2025 found most Americans had not even heard of Amazon Haul, let alone used it. The people who did try it found the exact same cheap stuff Temu sells, just slower, less gamified, and dressed up in Amazon's clean corporate look, which somehow made it feel less trustworthy, not more. Amazon spent 25 years training you to think 3-day shipping was slow. Then they asked you to wait 2 weeks for a $6 phone case. That's not a marketing problem. That's just asking your customer to unlearn everything you taught them. Here's the actual issue. Amazon cannot win a price war against a company that does not care about profit. Amazon's retail margins are already thin as paper. Most of their real money comes from Amazon Web Services, the cloud side of the business. Even Amazon cannot subsidize a discount empire the way PDD can, because Amazon's shareholders would actually revolt. PDD's shareholders apparently do not care. Then the rules changed. April 2025, the Trump administration announces it is ending de minimis for packages coming from China and Hong Kong. By August 29th, the $800 exemption is gone entirely. Every Temu package now eats the same tariffs and customs process as a container full of washing machines. This was supposed to be the moment Amazon finally got to relax. Level playing field, right? Except it didn't play out that way. Temu had been getting ready for this since at least mid-2024. They quietly moved inventory into US warehouses months before the deadline. They expanded what they called the semi-managed model, ship goods in bulk to American fulfillment centers, deliver domestically, skip the per-package customs problem entirely. Prices crept up slowly enough that most people didn't clock it, and they cut their ad spend, not because they were retreating, because they didn't need it anymore. By late 2025, Temu had 133 million monthly active users in the US. That's a quarter of the country's adult population. Once you are that embedded, you don't need 3 Super Bowl ads a year. Yes, the de minimis closure slowed them down. Monthly active users dropped around 28% year over year in the US by late 2025. But that's not a collapse, that's a filter. Temu lost its most price-sensitive, least loyal users, the ones who were leaving eventually anyway, and kept the rest. And Amazon's cross-border share didn't move, stayed flat. The people who left Temu didn't come running back to pay full price on Amazon. They went to Shein or AliExpress, or they just stopped buying junk they didn't need, which weirdly be the actual silver lining here. So, loophole closed, growth slowing, subsidies presumably can't run forever. Is Amazon actually winning this? No. Because this was never about who has a lowest price. Temu reset what Americans expect from online shopping. Full stop. Free shipping isn't a bonus anymore, it's the floor. A $30 hoodie suddenly feels expensive. 3-day delivery, the thing Amazon spent decades bragging about, now feels slow. Printing a return label and driving to a UPS store feels like a chore you didn't sign up for. Temu stripped out friction at every single step. Open the app, spin a wheel, get a coupon, tap buy. 2 weeks later, a box shows up with 8 things you ordered and 3 you genuinely don't remember choosing. The whole thing is engineered to make spending money feel like winning a game. And it worked on people across every income bracket, not just the ones you'd expect. Amazon's whole pitch was also about removing friction, one-click ordering, 2-day prime shipping, painless returns. But Amazon does it inside a business that still needs to turn a profit. Temu does it by burning somebody else's money, and that turns out to be a lot more addictive. That's the actual trap. Amazon can't copy Temu's model without wrecking its own. And it can't ignore Temu because the expectations have already shifted underneath it. Amazon's stuck in the middle, too expensive to win on price, too corporate to win on dopamine. Here's the number that should actually keep Amazon's board up at night. Temu lost money on almost every single order shipped to the US between 2022 and 2025. The total subsidy, what PDD basically lit on fire to buy American market share, lands somewhere in the tens of billions of dollars. And PDD's leadership calls every dollar of that an investment, not a loss, an investment. Because the plan was never to undercut Amazon forever. The plan was to build a user base so massive, a supply chain so efficient, and a habit so deeply wired into how Americans shop that once the subsidies eventually stop, nobody leaves anyway. And early signs say it's working. Even after the loophole closed, even after prices went up, even after the ad spend dried up, the core user base stuck around. Amazon spent 25 years, hundreds of billions of dollars, and an almost obsessive devotion to customer experience to become the default way this country shops. Temu did the same thing in 3 years with a customs loophole and a tolerance for losing money that would put any American executive in the hospital. Funny enough, both companies are playing the exact same long game. Amazon lost money for its first 9 years too. Bezos called it investing in the future, and Wall Street just believed him. The difference is, Amazon was quietly building something profitable underneath all that. Logistics, cloud computing, advertising. Temu is building exactly one thing, a habit. And nobody actually knows yet whether that's a real foundation or just a very expensive addiction with a shipping label on it. So no, Amazon isn't dying. But the fact that we're even having this conversation, that a 3-year-old Chinese shopping app gets mentioned in the same sentence as a $2 trillion American institution, says something about how shaky these empires actually are underneath all the market cap. And somewhere in Seattle, somebody already knows it. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care.